Today was our update 1.16 preview stream from Treyarch that happened a couple of hours ago at this point, and from that we got some stuff that we may not have anticipated, some questions not really answered, but some other things presented that we'd never really even considered. So today we're going to break down everything that came of that live stream, let you know exactly what to expect going into tomorrow's 1.16 update. And also we'll be discussing some things that, again, present more questions rather than answers. But we'll break all that down here, give you guys the full information and the confirmed stuff for tomorrow and beyond first, and then go into the things that may still be coming, but we don't exactly have any ETA on or anything that provides a little more clarity like we had hoped. So that's it, let's jump right into it. Starting out on the multiplayer front, let's start out with MP first, because I think that's probably where the majority of you guys are interested in terms of Black Ops 4 content. The biggest thing probably that you're excited for here is Bare Bones is going to be happening as of tomorrow. That's going to be the featured playlist for presumably at least the upcoming week, maybe even 2 at that point, but Bare Bones is going to be the way around using specialists within Black Ops 4. The main target here that Treyarch detailed was Black Ops 2 actually, in which there's no specialists, no operator mods, no gear of say things like armor, acoustic sensor, stim shot, and so on and so forth. Equipment is 1 per life and has no recharge to it, and the manual healing still is present, but it's the default manual healing, so it's that 5-second timer or whatever it is between the ability to do it once again. But Bare Bones was that derivative of Black Ops 2 and Treyarch's attempt to directly replicate that gameplay style of theirs minus the specialist, with of course the prime inspiration being one of the community's favorite games in the entire franchise. This Bare Bones playlist will then have TDM as well as domination in the rotation of game modes, with seemingly all the maps included as well. But if you guys have ever wanted to play Black Ops 4 without dying to any specialist BS, this is going to be the mode for you. Definitely check it out. I'm very excited here for it. The gameplay you're watching in the background is from the Treyarch livestream. None of us had any hands-on footage of it or anything like that, but presented directly from Treyarch themselves is a little glimpse of how this looks and how it plays in-game. After that, we're going to get another weather change to another map. We saw that recently we had Contraband Hurricane with the introduction of Shamrock and Awe 2 weeks ago. Now we're going to end up having Arsenal Sandstorm, and apparently this is actually going to be one that slightly changes how the game is played on this particular map. It's going to be the heaviest of weather effects that we've seen so far out of the couple variations we've seen already, but apparently this will cut down some of the lines of sight visibility and things and make it a little more close quarters, or make it a little bit more of a different mental approach to the engagements. So in that sense, I'm all for this kind of change, and I'm definitely excited to see how this plays out come tomorrow with the update. And the nice part is this is absolutely free. Whether you have the Black Ops Pass or you don't, it does not matter. This is going to be something given to all players for free, as that sort of weather variation that we saw with Contraband as well as Seaside and Firing Range already before. Also, fun little side note, it seems like there are still going to be plenty more added in over time, and that there are many more planned out, but at the moment we're getting them in little installations. Another change that I'm honestly really excited for that kind of goes across MP and Blackout, don't think zombies just yet, I still don't think they have that functionality, is that reactive camos are no longer going to need gold for a requirement to use them on other weapons. So whereas say you had the Death Reel camo recently for the Swordfish, if you had that and you wanted to use it on your KN or your Maddox, all you had to do is have those weapons gold and you can equip them on any of that so long as the challenge for the Death Reel camo is done. That's something that you don't need that anymore, and you can just automatically apply it coming up as of this update as well. So definitely looking forward to being able to put some cool reactive camos on my weapons in Blackout and not necessarily having to grind out paint cans and driving around to get gold for that. So certainly excited for that. And the final thing on the MP side actually came down to some weapon balancing and also some netcode and hit detection fixes. When it comes down to it, there's a lot of specifics that go into that kind of stuff, but in layman's terms, there's going to be some hit detection fixes for ADS in and ADS out, among some other things. So you should be able to have some better functionality with your gunplay off of that. So I'm definitely excited to see if that is a noticeable change or if it's something that is more minor and we don't necessarily notice it as much on the front end. But in terms of weapon balancing, they talked about a few weapons in particular, so I'm not necessarily expecting it to be the only things changed. We'll of course have the full patch notes as of tomorrow, but things like the Rampart, SDM, KN, and ABR were mentioned. The Rampart, it said there was a global flinch reduction when not ADS'd. So from my understanding, that's not going to directly affect or offer any more added benefit in a gunfight where a player is ADSing returning fire, but instead it's just going to be something that if you're shot from the side and running through an open hallway or something like that, that's where you'd see less flinch. The SDM was mentioned that it would have a fire rate increase with this ever so slightly, not anything too massive, and then it wasn't specified on these next two if it was only CWL rule sets in particular or global, but they also mentioned the KN-44 getting a range increase and also the ABR having some adjustments to the handling and the ammo capacity as well. So keep an eye on those ones and we can expect to see at least those change, but again, with 4 changes coming to 4 different weapons, I'd expect some overall weapon rebalancing to happen as well, with a little more on the chopping block than just these. In terms of Blackout, David Vonderhaar gave us a bunch of information here for what's coming to that mode. Firstly, Zero's EMP is coming to the game. This will be useful for vehicles and other things, but for vehicles it will actually stall out the engine, which makes enemies pretty much just sitting ducks. There's also one lesser caught mention where Vaughn mentions his dissatisfaction with the one-hit kill mesh mines on vehicles, so it seems like that's going to be phased out once the EMP is fully in place and balanced accordingly. So that's something you might not be able to one-hit mesh mine kill a vehicle coming up in the very near future. Other than that, Outrider's Sparrow is also coming, similar to the Annihilator. It's got a finite number of shots, and he mentioned that it was specified at the moment of 10 shots. That may be subject to change for balancing by bringing it up or bringing it down depending on community feedback. But just like MP, but also more drastically noticeable because the maps are so much larger for Blackout, the arrow has an arc to it and it acts exactly like it does in MP as an explosive weapon. It can definitely do some damage, and it finally answers the question of why did we see the Sparrow in the Blackout portion of the Grand Heist trailer if it wasn't there all the way back when the operation launched. It's finally there, so excited to get my hands on that and test it out a little bit. But other than that, there were some changes made to the collapse, in which you'll eventually take more damage the longer you stay outside the collapse in the final circle only with tomorrow's update. The goal of this was to eliminate people that would end up camping outside the zone and make it so they didn't take any gunfights towards that last engagement, and eventually they just have a heal off with the enemy team, who hopefully in their case wouldn't have as many meds as those that are probably camping out there with, say, Outlander and things like that. But even with Outlander, even with Medic, you won't be able to out-heal enemies once this update hits, so if your goal is to never engage and just sit in the zone the whole time, you're gonna have a bad time. Vonderhaar also ended up previewing a brand new melee weapon of the Demo Hammer. He mentioned it once seemingly by accident, but then came back to it and was just kind of like, yeah, it's here, this is the Demo Hammer, and he eventually mentioned that Tony Flame would then touch on it a little bit further for the direct MP correlation of it, but that actually didn't happen. We'll discuss in a second, but I'd imagine this is coming as well, but we don't entirely know just yet. One thing also interesting is that Vonderhaar's direct quote was,
"There's a really, really cool thing about to happen for every hot dropper on the planet. Wink. Wink. That's how I wink. You like that?
There you go.
Just go ahead.
There you go.
And so that can only mean what we think and can assume is a new POI and what we believe to be Alcatraz, but here's the peculiar part. There's about 20 minutes of discussion for Blackout, and it was never specified as to when it was coming, and there was no specific mention of Alcatraz at all. Other than that vague little new hot drop location, it really wasn't mentioned in the slightest. And the final thing for Blackout was that there will be additional after-action report information coming with tomorrow's update, in which it's just supposed to give a little bit more intel on how the engagement that led to your death plays out and how your game itself can be a little bit more approachable from a statistical standpoint at the end of the game as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how that turns out and what exactly that means, but that's all the Blackout content as well that was detailed by Vonderhaar on today's stream. As for zombies, that is a big portion of the meat and potatoes here for this update. Of course, you end up getting the brand new zombies map, Ancient Evil, the ancient Greek city of Delphi. And it seems like your task is to find and save Scarlet's father, plus also the Oracle. And there's a lot of cool things that come along with it. We saw a little bit of a teaser of the gameplay. There are a bunch of different creators that went out and flew out to Treyarch. You can check them out. They have some gameplay up already of it, probably some tutorials and guides as well, so you can jump in with some additional information that you may not have on a fresh drop, but totally up to you again. I know some people like to go on fresh, but we also end up seeing that we'll have new things like new elixirs. One that actually is pretty funny to me is the whimsical one, which allows zombies to have duck floaties around them. So that's pretty cool. I think that's a funny one. Of course, it doesn't alter the gameplay in any way, shape, or form, but it's a funny little visual effect here at that. But zombies, of course, is going to be getting all that kind of stuff that is promised with a brand new map, new weapons, new wonder weapons, new Easter eggs, new boss fight, all that kind of stuff. So that is going to be coming tomorrow as well. And now we can get into the things that are more so still coming up and the things that really didn't have much information touched on. So real quickly, the things that are still coming soon are 2 new MP modes, one of which is completely brand new that we haven't heard anything about, and one that's been teased since the very beginning of Operation Grand Heist. Infected is that one that we've heard about for quite some time. No ETA was given here at this, but it was still said as coming soon. And then a brand new one of Deathmatch Domination, which is an interesting way to combine score and objective points for kills in Domination, plus the objective actual capture points as well. So it's going to be 400 total score, 200 per round, in which you end up getting a score for not only the captures, but also those players that like to play for the kills. That helps your team out finally as well. So definitely cool that everybody's playing the objective. You're not having somebody that's just going for kills and not really helping the objective and the team win at all. So certainly awesome to see that one coming, and I'm definitely excited to jump into that one because as a solo player, I can't tell you how many times that if I play Domination, I'm going to run into people that don't play the objective with me or don't push B or something like that. So I'm excited to see that one, but as for the things to round this video out of what we didn't get any information on really, and what is really surprising, it's 2 things in particular. One is that we didn't hear any discussion of a brand new Contraband stream. I mean, it makes sense to still expect it coming tomorrow, but I would have expected at least some smaller hint of this at least, but we saw absolutely nothing. Though one thing that I think does still help play into the fact that we may get this is that we saw over on Reddit that the brand new Vendetta sniper rifle is available in Zombies, and whether that be via game bug or something that is from the new map and the preview there, I don't exactly know, but it's in the updated game build, playable, and plus the demo hammer was in the build of the game that Vonderhaar was playing around with on this live stream, which is the same build as going live tomorrow. So my guess is that they are going to be making their way over into the game, but it's just really curious to me we didn't see anything talked about with that. So I guess we'll see in time, but the next one, and what really is curious to me, is that we saw no real confirmation of Alcatraz and Blackout. All indications that we thought at least pointed to a new POI added in tomorrow, but I don't know anymore. And I do apologize that if it doesn't come, then I was completely wrong. I had absolutely misread the situation if that's the case, because I was absolutely convinced with the halfway point being tomorrow of Operation Grand Heist, being able to cut the event right in half, right down the middle, and have a POI be the focus of the first half, and then the second half, I just thought that made the most sense. And plus, with a redacted event coming up, with a title update coming up, it just seemed like it would make sense to me there. But with Vonderhaar saying that something really cool is going to happen soon for every hot dropper, of course, it still seems like it's going to be happening, but maybe not as of tomorrow. But if that's the case, that leads me with a couple of different options here. Either one, it's something that happens tomorrow and everything goes according to plan, which I'd be totally fine with. 2, it ends up happening a little later on down the line, maybe 2, maybe 3 weeks from now, because it seems like there's going to be a natural progression leading up to that from other clues that Vonderhaar mentioned, in which it's going to be rushed of a POI and then not have as much time to focus on that as any other POI, and we see another POI added in with Operation 4, so that we get 2 within a 2 to 3 week span, in which it's all top heavy on that one. Or it's something that we see that POI added in for the end of this operation, but not a new one with Operation 4. So I really don't know how this is going to work out, and I am tremendously confused. But I mean, I'm hoping things still come very soon, because there's some cool technical things, sure, coming with Blackout, but of course I'd love to see a brand new POI and something that can actively engage me with the map itself again. That said, that's where we're going to wrap it up. That's everything that was covered here within this live stream from Treyarch, and giving us a little preview as to tomorrow's update. Should be a bigger one again, probably around that 10 gigabyte file size. That seems to be our standard for title updates now. But regardless, wanted to keep you guys in the loop, let you know everything that's going down as of tomorrow and shortly thereafter. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Is there anything in particular you're looking forward to? Maybe not necessarily looking forward to. Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts. But hopefully enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4, MP, Blackout, Zombies. We got you covered the best of updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. So if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. Especially with tomorrow, we're going to be killing it with the content and updating you guys on absolutely everything that changed. So stick it here on the channel. But if you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, there's the best place to get connected outside of YouTube. I can live on both those. If you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. Well, that's it. Out of the way. Thank you guys all so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.